My name is Stacey Street, and I am the co-founder and president of the board for One of Us Global Foundation. I am somehow 56 years old. I have no idea how that happened. And I'm involved in my community in a myriad of ways. My whole career has been in nonprofit management, and so it's always been a goal and part of my life's work to support my community. I've also always been a volunteer, so I'm also currently the president of the board of my local women's chorus, the Peninsula Women's Chorus. I think I was born, with a sense of compassion for others. I think as everyone is actually born with an innate sense of equity and compassion. And for me, it was amplified by my family and my school community. My school and my mother encouraged me to volunteer, and I grew up in Manhattan, where I was exposed to a lot of diversity, and of course there was also a lot of issues happening as I was growing up. Luckily, New York has become a much safer, happier place to be. But at that time, there were just many, many opportunities to support our community. And it was something I started doing when I was quite young. And it's really stuck with me all of these years, that recognizing that each of us can really make a difference. I think something shifted for me in our school. It often felt more like charity. We were privileged and we should give to those who had less than us, more than about changing the situations of the people that we were actually helping. So as I got older, I really leaned into that as a goal and trying to see how we could really shift the situations and circumstances that caused us to need to be offering charity in the first place. For me, it's 100% the One of Us Global Foundation for so many reasons. I could probably talk about this for an hour. It's really the result of 35 years in the nonprofit world and being able to create a completely new organization, and really based on the experiences that I've had, the barriers and the internal systemic issues that the nonprofit industrial complex really faces as a whole, being able to understand what those barriers and challenges are and try and build an organization differently from the very beginning. It's also an amazing experience to be able to build an organization from the start based on universal human values that really deeply matter to me. I've come to realize that I have always believed in the power of love and compassion and kindness to profoundly make a difference in our world. I have not had the ability in the environment and companies and families and even relationships I was in previously to really lean into my heart, being a heart-led leader, and building this organization from the beginning based on values of love and courage and hope and wholeness, because really the ultimate goal is that each of us can be a whole integrated person where we can really be tapping into our inner capacities of who we are. That is the goal. And then ultimately that we can be a holistic community where we all come together and collaborate. And like I said from the beginning, really can celebrate each other's different perspectives as opposed to being afraid of them. It's just a privilege and an honor, to be able to work with all of the amazing people at One of Us Foundation who are aligned with those same values and share the belief in the mission. And of course, this organization on top of it, I couldn't not speak about how it was built on love for Alex, and how everyone in this organization really shares that deep love for him as a human and as an amazing creator of a deeply inclusive community that really impacted so many people globally. So to be able to carry on his legacy and to really honor him in that important way based on the love that Technodad and I also share for each other, and for Alex, is really a beautiful and amazing gift. It's interesting. I mean, I wouldn't name any of it as difficulties, honestly. Like I feel like everything in this organization is opportunity. The greatest challenge I think is that, I named the passion and the dedication of our young people, and I think sometimes that can lead to a little bit of impatience, of like wanting to get everything possible done in as short a possible a time as we can. And I completely understand that comes from a place of deep commitment to creating positive change. And I think we really have to balance that sense of commitment, which can turn into a sense of urgency, with the need to make sure that we are really walking the walk in how we center our values and operating principles in everything we do internally. And, I understand that sometimes that feels like we're not doing enough. And again, that's partly the background conversations, that exist in our culture. And that sense of urgency, I think sometimes can drive a scarcity mindset if we don't look out for it. But again, I don't feel like that's a difficulty. I feel like that's more something that we just have to acknowledge. And again, it comes from a really, really deep commitment to the mission and vision of our work. So again, I feel like that's opportunity more than anything else. Because we're building something completely new, there isn't a roadmap for what we're doing. And so I think that can create sometimes a sense of confusion, not knowingness, that again can actually generate great creativity if we lean into that confusion in a healthy way. And that's very unusual and different, because so much of our culture is about best practices. But one of the things I really learned a lot from our young people was our conversation about experimentation as an operating principle, because that really is very different from best practices, and normalizing that we want to try different things that may or may not work the way that we think they're going to. That is really exciting to me. And that is completely different. So, sure. I mean, it's really just that feeling of there's never enough. We don't have enough. We don't have enough time. We don't have enough money. We don't have enough resources. And I think if you are centered on the scarcity mindset, you might not budget or plan in a creative way. You might not be able to really think expansively, because you're building and creating the future plan based on what you think is the bare minimum of what you can achieve, instead of really thinking about what is the greatest possibility and the greatest possible impact of what you can do. That's a hard question for me, because everything I'm doing is supporting my community. I mean, I think I might actually go to my own kids and ask them, like, what would you want to do right now? One of my stepkids is a Girl Scout. And, I could see her really having some amazing ideas for what she could do with $100. I think I would entrust that $100 with a young person because, I think that a lot of us adults look at $100 and think, that's not enough. Right? That whole scarcity mindset of money is the most important thing, which is part of why I love the whole Potato Seeds project the way it's been envisioned, because money is just a small part of what we are providing and offering these youth leaders that are going to apply. It's really not about the money in the end. It's more about the resources and training and mentorship that they're going to get. Oh my gosh, it's going to be so much fun. I am super excited about seeing all of these incredible content creators come together, and it's just amazing that they're all wanting to participate, and how connected they feel to Technoblade and carrying on his legacy. I'm super excited about seeing how it continues to build the brand for One of Us Foundation. And of course, just can't wait to see how much we might raise to be able to support the kickoff of the potato seeds. Well, I had the privilege of knowing Technoblade at home, and I am so deeply grateful that I am the stepmom and that I had that opportunity. But I have to say the Great Potato Wars videos are by far my favorites. I've shared them with so many people that know nothing about Minecraft, because it's not just about Minecraft. It's not really about planting potatoes. It's really more about strategy and his own personal obsession. It really demonstrates his fierce intelligence and intellectual abilities, as well as his incredible humor, of course. But in the end, it also demonstrates his amazing compassion and kindness. I think that the final result of what came through and the arc of the story, it's just an amazing story. I think. So yeah, I was blown away the first time I saw them, especially because we had no idea that's what he was doing while he was doing it. He was just, not very present for a period of time, and we weren't quite sure what he was doing. We knew he was working on something. And then to see the end result, our entire family was just blown away.